I'm Irene and I'm on People.
Welcome to another episode of On People, a podcast on people at work, where we dive into stories, insights, and learnings from the forefront of Africa's work scene. My name is Anyema, and I am here with my co-host, Tom.
Yes. Excited to be back. Today's guest is incredibly witty. We're in a community together, and I've seen how passionate she is about healthcare. She's moved across different businesses from Boehringer Ingelheim Pharmaceuticals, Sanofi, and 54 Gene across pharmaceutical products, research, and development. And she's recently started building Infinity Health, which is increasing the scale and penetration of healthcare innovation across Africa through on-ground market research, competitor tracking, market insights, and communications. We bring you the gift of Irene Nwaukwa.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So today, Irene, just relax. We're going to just talk through your work journey, dive into your brain on work, on leadership, and just have you answer our agony and style question at the end, which will be very exciting. So, just going through your profile, I had gone through it, stalked you a bit on different platforms. And at the center of everything that you have done is healthcare. So that has been at the core. I'll ask you, when did you discover your love for healthcare?
If I think I don't know, it's gonna sound weird, but right from when I was a kid, I was always gonna be a doctor. I was one of those people. I was always gonna be the doctor in the family, and not just a doctor. I was gonna be a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Yeah.
Long before I knew what a cardiothoracic surgeon was, primarily because I wanted to be that woman that's skilled in male-dominated environments, and just never heard of female surgeons then. And then my dad said, "Well, if you're going to be the doctor, then you have to start learning now." And so I handled all the first aids in the family, and if there were any cuts and scrapes and anything, it was me.
At what age?
This is like even before I was a teenager, like wow, like forever. I don't know. I don't think I remember like a starting point. But like my entire childhood, someone fell and had something like, "Oh, Cole, Chineye," that's my middle name. That's what they call me at home. And so they're like, "Oh, Cole, Chineye, let's get the first aid box. Okay, go." And so we're all trained that way. And then I went when it was time to go to university, my parents were like, I thought I was going to go to UI. I had all this like really lofty dreams. My dad was like, "No abroad for you. You're 15 going on 16. There's no, when you're older, blah, 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 all of that." So I'm like, okay. My uncle told me, "This UI, I'm not going there. Choose school that is close by, because that's how your elder cousin." So I have a cousin who's also I'm a first child. He's also my uncle's first child and first son, and he also was studying medicine. And so he's like, that's how Oni said he was going to UI, and he never even went one day to check if he got admission. I promise you that's exactly how that happened. I never went to UI one day to check if I got that admission. And then I made the cutoff for Abia State University, ABSU, but I didn't choose them first choice. So now I had to go and start biochemistry. And I promise you, after 4 years in a Nigerian university, I was done with education. I was completely done. Like, I was really done. And I also had a flair for independence. So, I also wasn't like willing to, I didn't want to stay at home. I didn't want to do all of these things. And then go and do another school, study medicine. My dad got me a part-time job, not really even a part-time, they're like a casual staff job in an oil servicing company. And I got there, I was supposed to just, go there and do work 9 to 5. I reached there like, this 15,000 naira people want to pay. Is there any other way to earn more money? I say yes. That if I go to the field, I'll earn 1K extra. I'm like, that's where we are going. I think it's very hard. No? And one man there, his name is Sicily, one American man, very tough. Women don't really, men hardly survive, they not talk of women. I'm like, does it keep people say no? Say, we may go do it now. So we got there. And when I got there, Cecil, very strict American guy, says to me, Irene, 2 rules. There's no girl in the TDU. It does not rain in the TDU. So there's no such thing as, I'm a woman, there's this, it's not like, it's like that. It's not, there's nothing like that. And most of the time, I'm like there's only 2 women there, right? And I was really inspired by, Amaka, the lady who was there, because she was like this everybody talked glowingly of her, but she was this tough babe.
And she was the only other girl there.
Yes, and so we used to run shifts back to back. So most of the time, I'm the only girl in the field. But it was a very interesting experience. And it was time for me to leave when I had stayed 1 year. So now, by that time I stayed 1 year, my dad was like, are you not going for NYSC? What's happening? Like, I was just dragging my feet, and later I finally decided, okay, yes, I'm going for NYSC. I didn't quit that job, by the way. I told my bosses that I'm trying to work out redeployment and they scammed me. And I went to Zamfara. What do you remember? And I was going once every 6 weeks to my NYSC.
Wow.
Inside night was 22 hours.
How old were you?
I was 21. Wow. I just turned 20. I finished like 20. I literally defended my project on my 20th birthday. And by 21, I was now going for NYSC. And my dad was a mixture of many things. So when I heard I was going to serve in Zamfara, I was so shook. I couldn't believe it. And I would go to my cousin. I was calling him because I didn't see it myself. My cousin went to school to check for me. So I asked him, are you sure? Are you sure? And I could never forget that day because my father was sitting on the table, but it was somewhere, smoking laughter, like, not serious. And my mother was like scared.
Of course.
Like my mother, she's scared of everything, don't worry. Like, so she's like, oh my God, they're like Sharia, all this thing. And my father was like, so me, I served in former Bongola state.
So your father, right?
Yeah. And I went. I did initially think I was going to redeploy, but when I got there, I met like the coolest people. I had the best time. I was the OBS, I was the quarter guard. My friends were in the medical bay. I did pageant. I emceed the pageant as well.
Wow.
I did drama.
All in Zamfara.
So I'll tell you this, I'm a very immersive person. When I do anything that I do is 120%.
That's so good.
Including bad things. So I try to not do bad things.
She's very honest.
My father used to say, and he used to say it before like as a warning to us, but now I've internalized it as like a personal value. He used to say, you guys are goldfishes, and a goldfish has no hiding place. So don't do bad things, they'll find you out.
I'll find you out.
So whenever I go to any place, I expect to stand out. I know that I will stand out. It's just not in my nature to sit quietly and not be. I don't know. They always find me out. So I did like a whole lot of things. And then I was a lecturer. My primary piece of
assignments,
was as a lecturer in a school of health, teaching the subject I hated the most, actually, chemistry. And it was one of those things. I used to go and tell my madam, please, that there's no work after NYSC. So I'm going for an interview. So I'll show up like once every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Well, lecture, like it was like a once a week job. Me, I was even living in Gusau, so that school was in Safi, but just hey.
That's managing.
I was a very rich couple actually. I used to go like once a week, and I'll tell my head of department, like, please, man, there's no job. I'm going to go for job interview, so please allow me travel. I didn't even live in the town. I lived in Gusau, the capital. And I was in Safi. But I did those things where I've always been that person that when I find myself in a new environment, and you will find this across my entire story, I fully immerse myself in that environment. So, I was in Gusau, I was living in family house extension, I started Zobo business, out of idleness. Oh, by the way, every time I'm idle, I start something.
Wow.
I started doing something. So I started Zobo business. I started, just doing like all this random things. All this while shuttling every 6 weeks to Port Harcourt.
Oh wow.
Yes, because that's $50 a month plus 1 week work. That's good money. Plus my 7.5 from the federal government plus 12,000 from state government.
Oh wow.
I used to have one nice.
You had it off.
I used to have one nice man that we're planning to marry that year. He used to dash me like 10K. I was a rich couple actually.
Very rich at this point.
I tried to do PP once and go do be a lab analyst in a private hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the devastation was too much. My first day I was going to draw blood from a woman that was carrying triplets. I ran for my dear life. I really, really ran. Like I'm like, oh god, no.
What was it? The blood?
No. So, have you ever seen someone who's pregnant with triplets?
No, I have
no
not.
vein.
The disfiguration is ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Everybody think multiple births are really cute. Twins
When they're out.
When they're out. The damage when they're in, it's ridiculous. And, it's very, after 2 is intense. And so, yeah, I said, you know what, I'm 2. No, I'm not doing that. So I just chilled. But it was a really chill NYSC. I finished my NYSC, came back, continued my job. Like every 6 weeks, I'll come back, I'll say, I gave somebody money or they scam me. In fact, NYSC, I said 1 year plus 7 days because my father will ask me, you want to come back again? I went on rural rugged, went to the villages, shopped in Kano, shopped in Kaduna, went to Katsina, to Funtua. Like, I went to NCCF, what's that thing? The annual conference in Jos. Mm-hmm. We literally left just like 3 days before, all the violence and drama. Wow. I've been I didn't have money when we were finishing from Jos, so I didn't have money for bus, so I stood in the bus, from Jos to Port Harcourt.
How many hours is that?
22, she said.
No, that's to Zamfara. To Zamfara. You ended bus to Sokoto actually in 22, the night bus. But that one was something like, I can't remember. It was like past 10, 12 hours though. Like it's a long ride.
Wow.
What year was this?
2008.
Yeah.
So it was fun at the time. It wasn't if you tell me to do that thing, I'm gonna cry. But then it was like
you enjoyed that season.
I totally enjoyed it. I finished my NYSC. My dad happened to be in Abuja at the time, so he told me, come to Abuja, it's a conference, blah blah blah. Okay, we were staying in transport for a bit with him. Like everywhere we were like, who is this babe? I'm like, it's my daughter, it's my daughter, it's my daughter. I'm so proud. But I'll tell you the one thing that changed how I was going to do things. But I used to have a mentor who was at the time the GMD medical of NMBC. He gave me my first job as an intern when I was still in university. One of those things where I was looking forward to do my internship. My mom's colleague said, "Oh, go and meet this man. Talk to him. He's our family doctor." I went there. The man never even remembered when we called them, but my story was touching, and that's how and then from there, it became, a father figure to me. And even when I went to do NYSC, I told me, do I want to go to serve in NMPC? So I'm like, when that was good. I had to be there very frequently, like 80K now.
Yeah.
Like, nah, don't worry. I wouldn't retain you, didn't know. I know. So but I went back to him and I said, I'm doing oil and gas. I need to be back to healthcare. I don't know what is like. My dad was a serious, oil and gas guy. Most of my family actually was at the time. A good chunk still is. And so I like, what is my route up? Because, this cannot be it. And then he told me, if you want to go into the med lab space, then you go to Uniport, do this course, specialize a little bit. I checked how many med lab people are the CMD of the hospital? 0. Oh, that's not for me. So, like, okay, let's do HSC, within the oil and gas industry. I was like scoping around. And then, my dad was like, people have graduated, though. Me, when I graduated, I moved away from my parents, and even don't have shame.
Come and be going. Get out.
So I moved my dad to one conference in Calabar, and I reached out, everybody I met, like, I just finished work, I'm looking for work. So this man, I can't remember his name now. They're doing this graduates, they do this graduates training program. Yeah, programs. So I gave him my CV, and I kept in touch. And, none of those things panned out. But one day he comes and he says, "Oh, I know one recruiter. They saw NMPC Medical on your CV that you've done an internship there and they're looking for medical reps." I'm like, medical reps? So I asked, "What's a medical rep?" He even knows. So I went to my people and I said, "Hey, those people that used to sell, they're like, yeah, sales! I know, I don't want to do sales, so hey, I don't know, let's see,
A beggar with a choice.
Meanwhile, work was sticking for us at home. Remember every day, we say, when I was a graduate, I was not living with my parents. Don't have shame. Every day, this house will tell you to wake you up. So I went to. So I said, but then, when I asked him, I said, but they have car, they should drive car. I said, yeah. My father said, you don't have choice, better go for the interview. People were in Port Harcourt, this interview was in Lagos. So my father was like, are they going to fly? Are they fly down? Where are they flying out anywhere? He said, okay, I'll pay for your flight. So my dad paid for my flight. I went for the first interview. When I reached there, they asked us, we can come from oil and gas. One of the managers kept saying, "We don't go back to the oil and gas." So when they asked me, "How much do you want?" I said, "200K." We don't go back to the oil and gas. Because oil and gas, by the time I become a graduate, I was making like 120K. Yeah. And so I asked them, what is the budget for this room? It's like 50K. Yeah! And the HR, she was a little annoyed at, the fact that I was, I
was excited.
I was very forward. And they had asked me all those, sell me this pen, why do we need this, what is hypertension? This thing, you normally hire pharmacists, you have to study. Yes. I said, don't worry, I'm not afraid of studying. This one, that one, We had all that long conversation. And so when it got to the money, I'm like, is it only 50K? What are the other things? They say, okay, we'll give you 40K float, we'll give you a car. There's a car in Enugu that's waiting for you. The role is in Enugu. And we have a 90K travel allowance, all of those things. Initially, she didn't want to explain it. So I'm like, when you were quizzing me now,
I
you were not annoyed. Now I'm asking about money. You are annoyed. I don't understand.
Forget
So,
my profession.
Calm down. She explained. I like, please explain it for me so that you know, if I want to, you know, do this thing, I'll know how to do it. I know what I'm doing. One of the guys there kept saying, I don't know what's going on. Well, you know me, I hate car. I'm like, okay. So I got home. I said, they said the job is paying 50K when I get back to my friend. I said 50K. One flight, like you've got like 3 flights, 2 flights. Each flight like 50K. Like you can't even pay fucking job. I'm like, so everything, yeah, poor broke person. Just let them be happy. So they didn't call me initially. I collected one of the other managers was nicer, so I went and I took his number so that I could follow up. They actually picked me last. I later got to find out, and then you know they'd given us the offer. We all got in there. We did our first assessment. I came tops of everybody. So I'm one of those people that, you know, if you tell me that I don't qualify to be here, I'll show you that you have made a mistake in this life.
Yes.
Not possible. I qualify.
So,
you know, I really put my foot in it too. And you know, I remember my one of our trainers then, I saw this nice pen on her and I wanted to check if you know, be the best here, you will have it. And I did. But I really chased her down for it. And she told me, if you sell like this, nobody will be able to stop you. I'm like, anyways, we got to Enugu. The rep who was resigning, who was resigning, don't seize the car. So, it's nylon bag and boss.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
And you know, when you are a sales rep, you don't really have the kind of luxury others do, meaning that when you're going to take the bus from old UNTH to Poza, like a big luxurious bus, you can't like go and sit down in an empty bus, wait for it to get full. No, you enter the full bus and stand 45 minutes to get to it, you know? I remember one time I got to UNTH and I came and I called my manager, I cried, I can't do this anymore.
Oh my goodness, because you were still quite young.
Yes. You know, like, it's those things. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that to do this job, I didn't quit my previous job. I told my manager that I want to go and write an exam. I should take 1 month.
Oh my goodness.
Let me go and write a professional exam. And I packed my bag and I moved to Enugu. And in the midst of all of this drama, I didn't get the car. They owed the salary for the first 3 months.
Whoa.
And it was a really hard job. But when I got there, my first week, and the chief pharmacist, she walked me and she told me, you are a trader. Okay, I don't talk to non-pharmacists. How can you discuss science? Go. But I met, you know, other reps in nice cars. And, you know, I met, you know, sales superstars. And I also made money, you know, in that short period. And so I said to myself, you know,
it's good.
I think this is where I'm going to be, because I see that if I excel here, I will never look for a job again. I would never have to look for a job. Because I could see them, they were watching them, they were, you know, watching them anyhow. All that Pfizer and Correct.
Yeah.
You know, met one of my friends from NYSC. I met him there. Right now, let me tell you, that guy, I met him in NYSC, we were close then. Then I met him in Enugu, we became good friends and professional colleagues. He runs his own startup now that is complementary to mine.
Wow. You're destined to be each other.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, grow with your friends, grow with your people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Your biggest breaks is most likely not going to come from all these sa. It's going to come from your guys. It's going to come from
with your friends.
the people
Your
who come to, the people who know you in your field, know you to be good at what you do, and say, you know, this person,
Yeah, I like that. I like that because I was thinking, I was trying to just fit in, and even though I know we wanted us to do the journey, I like the start because a lot of the other questions will touch on the journey.
Yeah.
But I was just picking out different skills and writing them down. One of the skills I just put as if you're passionate. It comes, it shines through in the way you speak about everything. You're a storyteller, which makes sense. Marketing. You were so determined. I'm not sure. Maybe the focus was the eye on the prize, which was money. But I think it was more than that.
It's more than that. It's a sense of, so I do come from a family of a bit of overachievers. So, I didn't do primary 5 and 6, right?
I didn't do 6.
Because I really grew tall very quickly. And my mother was always scared that, I don't know if to say I was bullied because, so the girls used to bully me and then I used to fight the boys. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, so I moved. And then my sister, who didn't have the same problem, said, not on her watch will she do primary 5. I didn't do it. She's not doing it. She went, and my dad is like, you pass the exam, you go. We pass the exam, flying color. Oh, yeah, I'll be going.
Wow, that's why you finished.
Yes. So, and so I come from the family of people where you don't want to be in the same class. If you slack, you be in the same class as your younger sister. So.
I love that. That's the best way to.
That's all the motivation you need.
Exactly. And also there's my cousins, and so there's all of these things happening around you, and you're seeing people around you strive to excel. You just cannot. And for some reason, there's some other people in that same ecosystem who would come in and feel a little comfortable, but especially my dad's kids, my uncle's kids. We had another set of one of my cousins. My auntie had 4 girls. I have if you see brilliant grades, God. Every day you come and say, Travis comes for the topic, this I'm like, God, oh, help us.
Were they older or same age?
We're same age grade,
That's the worst.
Hey!
Pressure.
The pressure was a lot too. I slacked in. I slacked in university. My sister didn't slack.
Listening again, I was looking at your role and seeing how right now you're focused on regulatory support. And it makes sense. You go into something, you said you immerse yourself.
Yes.
So you literally figure out what should we do, what shouldn't I do, and then you see how do I work behind the scenes, how do I work in front of the scenes as well.
So I like to come into a space. I'll tell you the things that are my superpower, the things that aren't. My superpower is coming into a space and seeing the gaps and bringing together everything that is necessary to fix that. Now, the thing that is not my superpower is managing the people part. So you see, if all of those things were machinery and I just had to fix and everything would be fine, I'd thrive. But now, I have to do it. This person's problem is this color and this person's problem is that color. There's just a limit, and so a whole lot of the time, I'll tell you, so my friends, my friends, right? So when we talk, our spaces, I look at them like, get therapy because you don't kill people. You're moving too fast. You need to carry them along. They're not foolish because you didn't carry them along. It's you then.
Very honest friends. I'll come to that. I can't wait to come to that meeting. You're next.
But across my career, I did the medical rep thing. It was hard. I'm not really afraid of hard work. I always used to say hard work doesn't kill. Until I started entrepreneurship. It's it kills. Because entrepreneurship is so many near deaths, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid of doing hard things. Primarily because I believe that I'm more interested in the prospect of glory than the fear of failure.
That's really good.
So I'm thinking, when I'm doing something and I'm going into this thing, I'm not thinking what is going to happen if I fail. I'm going to be thinking,
What's going to happen
I'm
if
like,
I
oh
fail?
my God, we did this. Let me tell you, my first investment pitch to some this group of foreign investors, the guys asked me, you guys said, clearly, you do come across as somebody who's very insightful. You help people navigate the African healthcare markets, and how are you going to do, you don't need tech to do, when do you need to do tech? I'm like, if I don't do tech, I'm going to be like every other consultant. I don't want to do that. That's not why you need a career. But you asked, are you going to build proprietary tech? And I'm like, yes! That's why I feel like Einstein. Like, you see me, I'm doing it like this. That's how I
had
do
to
it.
go with
Like,
it.
I feel like Einstein. The guy's like, who is this guy? So, like, the excitement of
that passion.
creating something out of nothing is a lot for me. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me moving.
That's so good.
And so yes, I've done many crazy things like that. I was med rep. After a while, maybe after like 2 years, I became hot cake in that territory too. Said chasing me around the out. So Sanofi came, they poached me.
Wow.
And
Coaching is sweet.
they took me to that same head of chief pharmacist who said I was not qualified. And she's like, yes, I knew you guys are going to take her. That company, they're wasting her. If you know what, I know that if you know what you're doing, you have to take her. By this time, of course, I've earned my stripes. I'm like, why? And then from there, I moved from Sanofi. I moved from the field, from sales to marketing. And I moved to marketing for 2 reasons. I believe that I didn't want to do sales for too long because after you spend quite a bit of time in your territory, it's no longer exciting. Now it requires the discipline of monotony. And I just came on that. And I saw all those marketing guys, they were in the office sending decks and telling you to fill this, do this, do this. It felt like they were giving instructions. And I wanted to be in the space where I was giving instructions. So I went there. Big mistake. Oh my God. Hey.
Really?
Marketing is not giving instructions. It's begging people for information. So I have someone in my team who's new to marketing, and I'm part of the people mentoring her. And I tell her, listen, half of your job, 85% of your job is please now send me this. Please now have you sent it? Please now this. Please can you? It's follow up, and that follow up was hard.
Yeah.
And then I had this boss who. When Sanofi was poaching me from Boehringer, they were poaching me to sell a competitor product to the product I was selling in Boehringer. So I said, no, I didn't want to. That you people told me I was going to come and do antibiotics. What am I doing antibiotics now? And then they're like, no, we need you, this. But see, don't worry. He made the mistake of saying, it's the company's job to teach you how to sell their product.
It is.
So the first day, I went to talk to one of my doctors, and I said, I don't change company now. If you reach for a convention, like, he's all laughing. They were like banker, he laughed. Not do anything. So that night, I went and called my boss. You told me that the company's job to teach me how to do this. How I started hooking them. Every night I'll call. I'll say, this is what this person said. This is what that person said. I didn't need to be a teacher's pet in that regard, but I wanted to succeed at this thing, right? And this was the way. So I tell people all the time, like, you can't stand in the way of my success. If I believe that you have the information I need to move to my next level, you cannot sleep. Like,
I'll keep going.
I know people who wake up in the morning and find themselves in WhatsApp group. I've placed them there. So guys, we need to solve this problem of mine. And so, that's how and then from there, So in marketing, and that my boss, hard driver. We spent, we call it analysis paralysis.
Wow.
This is how we spent so many hours, so many, like, office will close, they will switch off the lights, everything, we'll see computer blazing in the dark.
Wow. Analyzing things.
Because if you know sell, you must analyze.
Yes,
Good
exactly.
reason. This is it. But it really taught me a lot about the market. And then one day, my boss says, so we're trying to move this position that you are in to Kenya, but they want to move the position to Kenya, but I don't know. I'm trying to get them to keep it here. I don't know if I'll be successful. He just said it like randomly in my end-year review. Valentine's Day the next year, uncle comes and says, I've not been successful in moving your rounds, So at this guy, they're going to this. So you have to give me feedback on if you want to move to Kenya.
Move to Kenya.
And you see, like now when you say move to Kenya, everybody be excited. Me, I'm like, when you said Kenya, the thought that comes to my mind is for $1 a day.
For one.
You can bring water to this community.
The danger of media, when media comes out.
Yes. And by this time I was managing some portfolios across, and the one look like they're doing very fantastically well. So I didn't really think, I didn't have high thoughts or high hopes. But I did. But then I called two people. I called my dad. My dad was like, it's a really good thing your company is, investing in you to do this and all. But, if you want to settle down, we're not good for settling down now. I said, okay, thank you, sir. Off called the man that I was dating. That one wanted to jabber like forever. We have been quarreling over it, all this. So next thing he said, so we're having like a whole lot of fights about it. And then I think, these people offered me a role in Kenya. The alternative is that they won't have a role for me in Nigeria, and I might have to. They won't let me go, but I have to like be idle for a bit. I know what it feels like to be idle in the company. They either let you go finally, or put you somewhere else. But it's a tough period to be. So, but I'm like, you know what? Let's cancel all of this. Like me, I'll give up Kenya. You give up America. You want to go to. Let's focus, start our family first. Then and then this man, he said, we've been fighting so much about this, so don't make any decisions based on me.
Oh, me. Oh my goodness.
Just do
that's an answer.
Right there.
So, me, that's why I knew the relationship was ending, because like he's like telling me I'm on my own. Right?
Literally.
So I went out with my colleagues. Remember that was Valentine's Day? So he was actually in Lagos and waiting for me to come. Let's go hang out. I didn't talk to him. I went out with my colleagues, came back, plastered, quarreled the next day. We broke up, and 1 month later, I was off to Kenya. After 1 month in Kenya, you couldn't tell between me and a native.
Wow. Yeah. You immersed yourself so fully.
So, like
the culture. The people.
And like, anyway, because, it was both a blessing and a curse, because my big personality meant that when I come late to work, everybody knows.
No.
When I'm not in the office, everybody knows. Like, we can hear you from Irene, inside voice, please. We can hear you from the door. It was all of those things, but it was fun. Within my first 15 minutes of fame was, I moved to Kenya in April 2014. By September 2014, I had launched the first digital records for kids.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, President's wife was there. All of this, it was really cool.
That's very, very interesting.
And, it was at a time when they were wondering what to do with me again, because it's difficult to gather together. Those people that are brilliant and all, but they're not going to be under your thumb. They're going to play the politics, all of those things. I had somebody who was trying to over-mentor me. So one day I called my boss and I'm like, please, what's this guy's role in my career exactly? It's not my boss, but every day asking what I've done. can you provide guy? Yes, so the guy got how he left it to my devices like this. I was thinking I was going to feel now. So after that, I became a superstar. Now asked me, do you want to go back to Nigeria? Do you want to stay here? I'm like, stay here. I'm going to stay.
Where I'm shining.
And 1 year became 2 years, and 3 years, and 4 years, and 5 years, and 6 years, and 7 years.
That's so good. That's really, really good. So my next question is just going to be about your journey so far, right? Seeing that you're having to carry along a lot of the things that you're doing, how do you ensure that things don't fall through the cracks?
Duct tape and the grace of God. Okay, no, but I've also learned a bit of skill in getting things together. As much as I'm let's call myself the mad scientist, I'm also the person that puts structure to things. So, it's my way of getting things together. Anything that I do, I put a process behind it immediately, so I don't have to do it all the time. Otherwise, definitely I will lose track of it. I'm also that person that is good at, like I told you, I know how to bring resources together, including people. It's just that I don't want to be responsible for them
for managing them. Don't put the responsibility on you.
I want to move to the next interesting thing.
Managing people is really dynamic.
Yes.
But it makes me want to ask you about how you're handling Japa.
I'm not.
Are you affected? Is your business hit?
Not really.
Not
really. To some extent, initially when I first started, I spoke with someone. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm happy to work with you." Meanwhile, the guy organizing Jackpot. Next every day, I have school, I have this, I have that. I deal. I don't. The business is not at the point where it's going to be significantly impacted.
Okay.
So, everybody has all this great vision about how they've retained this staff for over this long period of time.
Yeah.
I don't have that experience since I started startup, both by my fault and not my fault. In the sense that the business is too young to retain people and cater to people. So I just tell people, listen, a startup is a revolving door. You're still finding a fit to many things. And there's no price for keeping people who should not be there. I learned that very expensively last year. I had 22 people working in my company. We're not making up to 1 million a month.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Just because, everybody who said, "Oh, Irene, I think what you're doing is interesting. Wait, come and join." And spend 15K on their workspace a month.
Wow.
But it's been an interesting one because, entrepreneurship has expanded me in ways that I was hoping that my employment would, but I never got the opportunity to. So, I finished from Sanofi. I left Sanofi in 2021. Actually, officially end of 2020. Primarily because, they were starting to round up operations in Kenya. Initially, I didn't know they were going to completely round up. I just thought, they're rounding up. They're going to pay people big money. I don't do 8.2 years. I will calculate the thing. It's big money. Next year, my work permit is going to expire. I'm going to do politics to renew it. Culture doesn't something going. Plus, my dad was ill. And I just, COVID, after COVID, everybody just wanted to go home.
Yeah.
So I took my money. Plenty money. At the time, it was the biggest money I ever seen.
Wow.
Came back, been work for almost 1 year. Feel like a big gain because got a nice house. Hosted friends.
I love it.
Fell in and out of love. But when I was crying over man, my friend told me, you mean you don't have work and you're crying over a man? Jesus Christ. You have lost your mind. Cry very well because something is
right.
Focus.
Oh,
But when it was time to get back to work, I had a few offers on the table. One of them was 54G, the other was two others were in Kenya. I was really desperate to go back to Kenya at the time because I it's just more profitable. If you live in Kenya, you carry all your pension and go. Not like Nigeria, where your pension is strapped until. So, we don't even know whether we're going to live long enough to see our pension.
we will.
Amen. But amongst other things. But when I remember my interview with Abasi, and he talked about the 54 gene vision, and I tell you, I've never let it go since that time. Because you see, when he told me what they were trying to do with 54 gene, it resounded with me because I was the rep who they asked, where is the African representation in this study? And every time we kept on, you do hypertension, so you now can say, 6% of the patients were of African or Caribbean origin. 13% of, it used to be like one of those key points we would highlight from the study and all of those things in our marketing material. So I thought it was really cool. I really did. And so, we said, we're looking for someone to do marketing. Said no, and I joined. And then I realized that the startup environment is unreal.
It is.
So, I worked in a unstructured environment, the 50K company. By the way, that company, that 40K float, 90K travel, it was in stock, or like you could sell first.
Ooh.
Then we realized the money. Then, and you still account for the 90K. But,
oh wow!
I made 750 naira for every stock I sold, so it was not a problem. But startup wasn't that kind of dysfunctional. It was proper dysfunction. Just wake up one day. I can't say many things, but startup is very different. And I used to judge it very harshly, to be honest. I don't anymore because now, any startup founder.
Exactly.
And you realize that one of the reasons why you can't judge it so harshly is because it's a testing ground for many things. When you come from structured environments like multinational pharma, where half my career was spent fighting for the space to innovate. Half the time you're telling compliance, listen, you cannot be more Catholic than the Pope. They did it like this in Pi. Like, no, it's not the rule. They have to do it like this. You have to. So, then you come into an environment where you have a little too much freedom to innovate. But a little less experienced people sometimes to guide that innovation. And through it all, I was really sad. Really sad and hurt when the company had to close down. And then after that I started looking for work. In between that, I was looking for work, and I'll go to all these job interviews. Let me tell you one very interesting one. So I was interviewed by the CEO of Drugstock, Dr. Chibuzo. So it's a good friend now, and when he told me, we talked about the job and everything. I don't think that anybody will have the conversation with I can't really doubt that this person can do the job. That's not the problem. Money is the problem. So it's like, so when I talk about the kind of money I wanted, he's like, I don't know, I don't have this kind of budget. So I don't know. See, let me tell you, it's better for you to add more work than for you to reduce the money. That's how you go.
That's a nice. That should be the title. It's better for you to add more than to reduce the money. The money girl.
And then all these startups talking to me who couldn't afford the kind of money that I wanted. And then my former colleague and really good friend and mentor, Dr. Philip, says to me, I do some consulting stuff on the side. Come be CEO, come run it with me. And we got there, organized, and we were really just talking a lot. There's not too much movement. We're still trying to put it together, top level style. But it wasn't just moving for me. So I said, let me just go on my own, start as a consultant and see. And I started like my 3rd of January, signed my first client. Before the 10th of January, I had 3 clients, we're running. In fact, when my friend Wally told me, this thing is hard, though. Consulting is hard, I'm like, please, I'll apply after that. I'll apply that. I was singing,
Sounds like me. Also January, 6th of January.
Yes. So 2023 now, right? And so I started last year actually. So I did 3 months, and then I said there has to be a better way. In fact, before that 3 months, I went back again and called Dr. Chico's office.
The half idea here.
I'm teaching it small. What is the way? And so he told me, listen, this is how consulting business works. You have to have this kind of client and then this kind of client. And I checked, and I'm like, this is not why you leave your full-time job. What do we do? And I kept asking myself, how do we help healthcare businesses at scale? In fact, when I was studying consulting, I didn't know how I was going. Initially, I was like, am I going to just be marketing consultant, agnostic, right? Or should I focus on healthcare? The initial goal was to start agnostic, but I didn't feel like I fit. So I went back to healthcare. Every road always leads me back to healthcare every time. So I wanted something that I would be passionate about doing. So I always did healthcare. I said, you know what? It's niche, not as many clients, but it is something that I would do and do very well.
Yeah.
And then when I started with healthcare, I kept asking, what's the easiest way to do this at scale? I'm like, data. And not just data, but if we're going to help healthcare businesses excel, then we need to map out the things that are the roadblockers for them. It is insights. And by insights, I'll tell you what those insights are. So a lot of times, what you read about the African market and what is on the ground, like parallel lines, right? You're always grossly surprised after you have invested money. And it's part of the problem. And the reason is that we don't document our local insights in a way that is usable.
Yeah.
We tell a really good story, but what you cannot put in a business plan? A really good story.
Yes.
You can't use a really good story to estimate your market. You can't use a really good story to tell you to do certain, very academic things. And so we need to we're really good at collecting primary data, but converting it into that academic format was a bit of a problem. And so, I started to build around that. And then, people just kept asking me, you have done 60 years in pharma, who's your NAFDAC guy? Who's your regulatory guy? I'm talking regulatory.
That's how regulatory.
I mean, if 10 people ask you who's your NAFDAC guy, best you might as well find your NAFDAC guy. So I made one of the first mistakes that most entrepreneurs do. I went, found somebody, and I said, I think I see some opportunity here, and I need you to help me, deliver the work while I get the clients. We hadn't even got a client, but this baby gave me for money.
She did what?
She hooked me for money.
Okay.
Money from where now?
There's no client.
That messy. Everyday dirty, everyday. Hey!
Wrongly, not lying.
And I've always been good with people. Before I became an entrepreneur, in fact, inside that same community, before I became an entrepreneur, I used to argue, how can you owe people salary? Do you not have conscience? Are you not a wicked person? See, I've always been on the side that workers should get wages until I became the person paying the workers their wages. And my dear, I gathered people and it didn't do.
Never is.
And you can't push because how do you push the people that you're owing? Meanwhile, the only way out is through.
Yeah.
So we did 1 year of wilderness and it was really tough. I told you, entrepreneurship is so many near deaths.
Yeah.
That's one of the lessons I've learned. I didn't think I was that resilient either. Me, I used to be a person that used to cry for help, cry out for help. So I cried out for help a lot. Initially, people help me. But it's a friend who, every once in a while subsidize a few things for my business. One day told me, Irene, you need to invest. So the last subsidy I'm going to give you is I'm going to pay for your business valuation. Don't get traditional investors. I entered another round of people posting me. Say, so this is division. They say, it's not easy backable. It's this, it's that. God, yeah. See. Meanwhile, you have to also solve client problems. Clients want you to run as somebody who's running things at scale.
Yeah.
You want to run with really good unit economics, but the pricing is not working for that market. And so I remember the first time that I sent him, a good friend of mine and like a brother to me, I sent him an invoice for 10 million and he called me and he laughed. Like, oh my God, Irene.
Stop this. Calm down. She's still laughing at herself to remember that.
I ended up giving that only like 75% discount.
Wow. I can see that's too much.
How much I let you go take and you never take. Okay.
It was neither that 75% discount or nothing.
Well, it was very, I had the pleasure of bootstrapping and learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very painful way to learn. You're going to make a lot of enemies in the process. People are going to be disappointed in you over time and appointed again when things get better. It was just like that. Now I have a few investors, we're doing things, it's moving small. I'm like, in fact, one of my investors yesterday told me, you're fine, move quickly. Like, we don't deal with that as too long, my bro. Like, if we don't move now, what will we be doing?
Exactly.
We had such a good laugh. Now when I send that 10 million invoice, I'm like, may I look away? They are not paid. Because, I know your shaggy is in front. If you don't want to pay, it's okay.
You say, especially in regulatory work,
But, it took us a while to get there. It took a bit of learning. Our first clients were not as pleased with us because it's one thing to have connections, another thing to bring people together to deliver the work.
Yes.
And most people give me the work because, I know everybody in the market. Okay, so, you see, when you come from the kind of sales background that I do, and you're that kind of marketing person that I am, you make it your job to know everything that happens in your market. In fact, recently I was at a conference and I was talking to someone and I said, my goal is to make sure that nobody moves in this market without my knowledge. And the guy looked at me. It's also my line of work. I like this now. They feel like they did sleep for 5. Me, I want to know everything that happens in this market. I want to make myself invaluable to my market by being the person that enables it. And the reason is really simple. I don't believe that it is estimated that over 650 million Africans don't have access to care that they need. And no one single provider is going to deliver that care. However, 20,000, 100,000, 1 million of us are going to deliver it. It is more important to help millions of healthcare businesses provide care than it is, to be the best healthcare provider.
Yes.
And so, we worked out many models to get to where we are. And now, we're in a place where we're building proprietary tech for our industry.
Awesome.
And I'm super excited about it.
So proud. So proud.
You sound like you know about it.
I know, I already know. So proud.
So
I think the best thing now is because more than anything, you notice we can't even ask that many questions because you're literally flowing.
Yeah.
And you're flowing, and as you're talking, you're already answering some of the questions. So we're just move. But we don't want to let you go without doing like our agony ants section. So what we have here, it's been over a month since I've been asked to do any task at work. My team lead just stopped delegating tasks to me, but everything else seems to be going well. My salary still coming through, but I think I'm being quietly fired. Should I ask if I did something wrong, or do I keep going to work and just collecting my check?
That person is being quietly fired, for sure. And the nail on that coffin will be if he or she starts to see them document things about their inefficiencies.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I also have that bad habit. I do not do the business of firing people. I have let go quite a number of people, but I'm not in the business of coming and saying, I don't think we can work with you anymore. A lot of times, the people who leave, leave because we disagree on key things, and I'm like, if you don't want to do it, it's okay. I'm happy to receive your resignation. Or, I just stop, just like that. I stop. Sometimes, it's just harder to engage.
It is.
So I just leave you, Some people, you see them, they're like, you call them today, I'm sick, I'm this, I travel. I like, please, madam,
Just want you.
Do you get me? Do you know how much money? And at the time when they're telling me this thing, I was like 30 million naira in debt. Like, I was not sleeping well. So, as they're telling me, I have problem, I'm like, take the number, my darling. All of us get problem. But now your problem is getting to be everybody's problem. And you don't want to be bad to them. So I've been that employee that's been treated in many different ways, good, bad, ugly, I try not to intentionally, treat people badly, and all of that. So sometimes you just ignore. And then one day you say, you don't have money to sustain this. We are not rich enough to pay you to not do anything, so bye.
Like that. So this person and this knows they're being
I actually think that if I had money, I would pay people until they retired. But we don't have money now, so the business. I'll tell you this. I hit rock bottom in March. Yeah. End of February.
This year?
Yeah. I lost. In December, I got a really good prospective client. We got to work, and in January, we're on a good track. Everything was looking good, and then the contract was cancelled. So that was our main income for January. So we had to start writing from HR chambers of ChatGPT. Hello, ChatGPT. I have this person, and we can no longer afford. Kindly write a kind letter to them.
Compassionate letter.
So, sat down, had to write so many of them. I'm so sorry. We cannot continue. We'll pay your backlog once we, And they didn't let up until early March, actually. And those things, when you think about how it affects the business, you also need to think about how it affects the founder as well.
Yeah, it's very tough.
I tell people that I don't think any man can break my heart as much as my business has. I've never cried for man the way I've cried for business. Like, go to bed, cry, till that the world has ended. Then wake up tomorrow morning and face your team and continue like nothing has happened. I've done it so many times now that, I can't even believe I've done it. But that one in So I think it was early March. I called my team like, I don't think we can continue again. It's bad. We don't have children. In fact, they're off the lights in my house. So I told my father, like me, I'll come back home. And all of this was because, well, so many investor conversations, the way this thing is, and you get posted, there's no answer. So they no answer. Money never.
Nothing has dropped.
Nothing has dropped. Client work is there, but client work is like, you're not doing at scale, so it's not like you're making that kind of money. So, hey, Jesus, I was like, what am I going to do? So I told my team, I think we have to pause operations. And half the team said, we're almost there. We die. That's the half that still works with me.
Wow. You save the best till last.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the half that still works with me. Because, I mean, like, yeah, it was tough. Anyways, I went to my father's house. 4 days later, it was 20 million naira recharge.
So you literally have to get to
Bounce back.
get to the
Entrepreneurship is worth so many near-death experiences.
Thank you.
Then, we got into our testament phase. We did so well. And then, even me, the opportunity I was seeing in this started to expand. And we built a little capacity. We got in some people, I learned the lesson now of not carrying everybody. I'm carrying only people I could pay, and things are moving. Like right now, my team is one chasing. So you see how my phone has been ringing today? Well, because there's so many people, like I have, if I'm not mistaken, today at least 5 new people have called me for regulatory services. Like it's a big problem. It's not that, and it's always been a problem. When they ask me why I had this problem, if they had a problem, can't just wake up one day and go and solve it either, right? But it's risky. But it's a problem, meaning that there must be solution.
Yeah.
And meaning that somebody has to bite the bullet and test until they find a way to make it work.
And that person
And
is you.
Who else but me? So that's
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
so
my
much.
origin story.
In a nutshell.
It's such a good story.
We're looking forward to so many successes. I'm so confident that we're going to end. I was talking to one of my team members. I'm like, we're so going to have a fantastic end of the year. Success for me means that we would have met our targets, and I will be able to take my team somewhere nice.
That's it.
For us to really relax, because
It's been rough.
Because we've been through it. So let me tell you. So today, for instance, today someone traveled all the way, came to Lagos to find us. Like,
Wow.
came to the direct start office location. And I'm like, please, sir, I'm already busy today. Can you come to my like, no, I'm already at the gate. From there we went into another call. Like, I have a good problem.
Yes.
I have demand, and I'm committed to building the capacity to deliver. And deliver at scale, because I don't want to do, the mistake that I made with the first person that I called is that she wanted to continue hustling, if you know what I mean. Just because, we're all a function of our environment.
Yes.
And most people don't, most people want to see the money today.
No.
Yeah.
But
you were building long term.
I've always been a big picture person. I've never played. I don't like short-term games per se, so I don't do that. I work for free for many people. I go to many places and I say, "How can I help?" And I see a problem and I cannot get my eyes off it, and I go and solve that problem for free because I want to be in this space for a long time or in this relationship for a long time.
Awesome.
And so I told them, no, put yourself move away from this problem first. Don't think about how you're going to solve it. No. Think about how you're going to build process around it. I told you my superpower is creating structure around anything I do the first time. So I only make the same mistake once.
Yeah.
After which, I put a process to fix it, and then we go and make another mistake.
As we often do. Thank you so much.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Correct.
Exactly.
I wanted to add something on the question. So, we've done the diagnosis of that person looks like they're about to be fired. What can they do to fix it? There's two things to do. The conversation is not going to solve the problem. Because when people give up on you, they have
It's happened over
tried to have a conversation.
Yeah.
It means they've tried to have whether you realize or it or not, they've tried to have a conversation. But a conversation does one thing. It brings people, gives them the awareness that you are now aware of something is amiss. And if you are not clear on what is missing, then the first thing to do is to start to put yourself help. Don't wait to be told. The most useful people don't wait to be told. They help. They come in, they see problems,
They jump
they jump in. They roll up their sleeves. Help. Be a team player. I tell people, one of my staff mentioned it the other day when I was tweeting about being soft skills and why you should carry your company on your head. And whether or not your employer is a bad person, carry your work on your head because it's you. It's you. It's about you. It's not about them. I told you my first job, I didn't see salary for the first 3 months. I didn't see car, I didn't see anything. But I wanted to be the rep that they were poaching. So I had to fix up. It's about you. And so you need to be that person that everybody, that team player. And being a team player does not come from the home. Being a team player does not even mean going to the page. It does not even mean telling people I'm here. This is actually a skill.
It is.
And so most people think that, when I get that ExxonMobil job, when I get to MTN, when I get to those places,
Then
I'm going to, they will meet the surprise of their life. Or when I start my own company, my dear, if you know they wake up early for employer work, you will not wake up early for your own work. It's just it. If you cannot manage yourself within, that environment, you will not manage it there. And so, they would have to now go out of their way to show that things are actually changing.
Yes.
The third thing that they will need is an internal advocate. It's very important. So you need to find the person who's the most sympathetic to you, with a little bit of influence, and convince that person that things are changing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You couldn't have answered that question better. And I hope that the person who asked the question sees all the cues that you have thrown in there. And so it's on this note, this very high note, that we're going to be rounding up for tonight. And, we thank you, our guests, for coming in and throwing in so many nuggets, so many light bulbs in there for me.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of On People. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Irene as much as we did. Don't forget to subscribe and listen on your favorite podcast platforms. To keep the conversation going, drop comments and questions on our social media handles. Until next time, it's bye for now.